morning, everybody. Good morning. Hello, Facebook people. Well, my message today is titled, Give It a Go. And I have to admit to you that the first title I came up with is, Do You Feel Like a Pin Cushion? But I decided that sounded a little negative, so I went with Give It a Go. But how many times in life do we feel like people just keep poking at us? Like they want this from us, they want that from us, and we struggle with what we want to do, and at the same time we can't make a decision one way or the other what we really want to do, and we end up doing everything that everybody else wants us to do. And we find that we have no time to do what we truly want to do. Anybody feel like that? If you follow that path with me? Yeah. And the thing is, we end up picking and choosing over all of this, and most of the time we end up miserable anyway, don't we? We start feeling like the pincushion, like everybody's poking stuff at us, and we're not having fun. So we have to start thinking about how we're going to change this series of events that happens to follow divine order in order for us to find joy in everything that we do. Wouldn't you love to have a joy-filled day every single day of your life? To be doing what you want to do and be happy about it and not feel guilty or shame or anything about saying no to somebody? Wouldn't that be wonderful? And so we have to learn to give it a go. We have to learn to give it a go just to say no. Can you say it with me? Give it a go to say no. Yes. Now, sometimes we can end up feeling like that pincushion where everyone is taking a stab at us, or we can feel as if we are a puppet and someone is pulling all the strings. Ever feel like that? Yes. I know I do. But we've got to learn to cut those strings and just stand back and not let anybody poke us anymore. And we're going to do that today. We're going to learn some ways to be able to do that. But whenever I ask someone to do something for me, I always add the little adage or caveat that it's okay to say no. And some people look at me kind of funny when I say that, but the thing about that is you have to give permission to people sometimes to be able to say no to you. And especially sometimes, I'm not saying that I'm up here or anything, but when people find out you're a minister or pastor, they kind of like, oh, I can't say no to her. But I always tell people it's okay to say no, because I want you to be making choices that are healthiest and best for you and the highest good for you. Because if it's the highest good for you, it's the highest good for everyone. That's right. So it's okay to say no. And we have misconstrued that over the ages that, oh, you can't say no to somebody if they want something from you. That's silliness. And that isn't how divine order works. It's not we're not supposed to be somebody's puppet and just do what everybody else wants to do. Here's the definition of divine order from the Revealing Word. Divine order is the first law of the universe. Indeed, there could be no universe unless its various parts were kept in perfect order. Everybody agrees with that. The facts of spirit are of spiritual character, and when understood in the right relation, they are orderly. Spirit, God is orderly. Orderliness is law and is the test of true science. Even scientists will tell you that things happen for a reason. Things are in right relation. And when we're in right relation, our relationships will be in right relation. And when I say right relation, I don't mean just the right relation for ourselves, but our right relation with God. We have to have that relationship with God and put that first in order to realize what divine order is all about. It's not about somebody else controlling our lives. Every desire we have comes from our soul, comes from within. And if we are blocking that by not following what that call is, then guess what? We're blocking off God. And who wants to be in that position? Our soul will follow a divine path if we allow it. Our soul will take us in divine order if we allow it. But when we say no, guess what happens? That thing keeps showing up time and time again, doesn't it? And I don't mean no in the reference of what I said before. I'm saying when we say no to divine order, when we say no to the path that God is trying to lay before us, when we say no to that, then whatever it is that we're troubled with, that we've veered off the path with, is going to keep showing up. Don't you ever wonder why something keeps popping up? And I've prayed about it. I've let go of it. I've released it. I've done everything. I've sent so much love to that situation, but it keeps coming back. And it's like it just won't let go of the side of me. You know, like it's just dragging here.
Amen.
It's because we haven't allowed it to be in divine order. If we follow divine order, which is the power for this month, then guess what? All that other stuff is going to drop off like dead flies. I mean, it's just going to be gone. Because we won't be distracted by that. We won't be pulled in that direction. We will be following what is laid out before us. And some people take that as, oh, God's going to tell me every step I need to take today. Do I get up out of bed, God, or not? You know, it's not like that at all. I mean, but you will know in your gut because wisdom will teach you and show you where to follow that path, where to follow divine order. Because we activate wisdom through the knowing that all is in divine order. When we can affirm, I am in the flow of divine order, wisdom takes hold. And I point to this part of your body because you ever get a stomach ache when you're doing something wrong? Or when you said yes to doing something for someone that you really didn't want to do? Doesn't it start churning in there? And you're thinking, oh gosh, maybe I'll just be sick and stay home and use that for my excuse. You know, instead of just saying, no, I don't feel comfortable doing this. No, wisdom is telling you, hey, don't do it. Don't go for it. Don't, whatever. We have to listen, and wisdom will help direct us and keep us on that path. Let's affirm together, I am in the flow of divine order. Together, I am in the flow of divine order. The highest good will always come forth when we realize that, when we affirm that for ourselves. And we have to know this and understand this, because that is how we stay out of getting everything skewed in the wrong direction and going the wrong way in our life. And I think it's very important to understand how this all works together and how all these 12 powers work together in our life. For example, maybe you started out the year with making a list of what you were going to do this year. You know, your yearly New Year's resolutions. Yes. Maybe you made this whole list, and you know, this is September. The year's going pretty fast. And I bet you most of those on that list are just sitting there on that list and you haven't accomplished them, right? Maybe you can check off one or two or something. But most of it, you're probably still going, this isn't going to happen this year. You know, maybe I'll put it on for next year. Well, that's one of those things that we have tried to force something to happen that maybe isn't supposed to happen. I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year. And you end up gaining 50 pounds, you know, and you're thinking, why did that happen? I've been praying about this forever. Yeah, but we're not following the path of divine order. But what we end up doing in that too, is we just end up thinking ourselves aren't important enough. We do this with our spiritual growth. Oh, it's not important enough. Somebody needs this from me. I'm going to go do that. When really, you should be getting up and having your body here with us in this community, enjoying a beautiful Sunday morning, learning something about yourself to help your own spiritual growth. And isn't that what it's about? That's following divine order. Instead of going and saying, oh, they want me to go to lunch with them, so I'm not going to be able to get to church. Although I don't have to go till 1 o'clock, but you know, I might not make it in time. That's the first time in your life you're worried about what time you're going to get to lunch, right? No, I mean, they'll be there when you show up at 1:30, whatever. I mean, they're not going to go anywhere. But we get entangled in all this drama that happens in our lives instead of putting our own spiritual growth first. That's why we get messed up and not follow divine order. Because we're too worried about everything else that's happening, what bill needs to be paid, what we have to go do for someone else. Oh my gosh, this person needs me, which is another little stroke of our ego. Instead of going, that person might need me, but I need me. I need me to be able to grow and be better than where I am right now. We don't put our spiritual growth first. Divine order says, spirit's first. We have to put that first in our life, or else we've missed the mark on following divine order, and you might as well hang it up, because your life is going to keep popping up with all those little things that are bugging you. It's going to work. That's what's going to happen. It comes down to this question, and Dr. Barbara said this a few weeks ago, and it just really sang to my soul. What are you hungry for? Powerful question. What are you hungry for? Because we all have these desires in our souls. And what is that hunger that you have in your soul? Now, right now, you might be thinking about lunch. Yeah, and you might be hungry, thinking, oh, what am I going to have for lunch? Especially since I brought up the word hunger, and there's a plate up there with a fork and knife. But I'm not talking about your physical or emotional hunger. I'm talking about your spiritual hunger. Your spiritual hunger is the same thing. How many people have read a diet book or been on a diet where they talk about emotional eating? You know, when you're stressed out, you're worried, you're anxious, all these things, and you just start jamming food. Well, that emotional eating happens with us too when we talk about our spiritual hunger. Because people will jump from here to there, go read that book, go do that program, go get a coach to coach them through life. Go get, and I'm not dissing anybody for any of this, believe you me, because we all have to go through trials and tribulations to get to where we're going. Before I found Unity, I studied the stars, I studied Linda Goodman's sun signs, I did the tarot cards, I checked into those, I really wasn't into that. But, you know, the stones, the colors, all this stuff, I did a lot, dreams, all this, and it was great, but it wasn't feeding my soul. And when I found Unity, I said, whoa, that's going deep. That's hitting the spot. That's hitting the place where my soul's on fire and I want more. I don't know about the rest of you when you walked into Unity Church first time. Hopefully every week when you walk in this Unity Church here, you feel like something is tapping your soul and putting it on fire, saying, wow, this is great stuff. I want to carry this throughout my week. I want to carry this throughout my life. I want to be in this energy of divine order. Anyway, we have to start working on spiritual practices for ourselves. And if divine order is a 12th power, then this will flow easily when we tap into that soul desire. I'm not saying that we shouldn't explore, but if we are not grounded in truth, in a strong spiritual understanding, with the right relation with God, this is what I was talking about before, right relation with God, then we will be spinning our wheels. You ever feel like you're in that mud hole, spinning, flinging up dirt behind you? Yeah, that's what happens. I love that. Anyway, but we will not be able to move forward. We will be stagnant. We will feel like something's not right all the time. You ever feel that way? There's always something that doesn't feel quite right. Or when you're doing something with someone else, you're thinking, well, this was fun. This was great. I'm enjoying myself. But there was something missing. Something missing. And when our thoughts veer off the path of lack, it veers onto a path of lack, we must not condemn them. We must lift them up to the right relation, to the right consciousness, to truth. This is from Ernest Holmes, New Thought, minister with great words. Thoughts of lack manifest as limitation. Thoughts of abundance manifest as success and happiness. Failure and success are but two ends of the same stick. So we have to realize that if we are veering from divine order, veering on that path, that we are ending up in a place of lack. We are causing ourselves to be in a place where we cannot pull it together, where we cannot see divine order, where we can't head in the right direction, where we can't even feel our soul's desire anymore because we're living in lack. And if we live in lack, we don't want to go to that place of feeling guilt and shame about it or going, oh, God, I did it again. I went and helped that person again when I knew I shouldn't have helped them. All they do is use me every time. Ever say that? Mm-hmm. And then you end up beating yourself up. But don't go that. Don't go to condemning. Go to that place of truth. That person is a child of God. I did my best to help them. I know that I can't do that anymore, or whatever it is. You have to affirm the truth in every situation, not condemn them or yourself, because that doesn't take us any further down the path. That just keeps us stagnant in that position. That's where it comes important to send love to those people that are involved in any trauma in their life. It helps you, it helps the world, it helps those people. No condemning, no shame, no guilt. Every thought starts out as pure and perfect, aligned with truth. Think about that. Right now, whatever thought you're having was actually started by a divine thought. God put a thought into your head. You are connected to God. And then we take our own physical mind and change it. Here's God. Oh, let's go this way. Here's God. Here's us. We take that thought. Are we going to take it to the negative? Or are we going to keep it aligned, bringing it positive, bringing that great thought and making a path that moves us forward? Every thought, it's so powerful if you just sink that in. Starts out pure and perfect. And aligned with truth, it manifests perfection in divine order. So if we keep those thoughts pure, we're manifesting divine order without even knowing we're doing it. And that's the ease and grace that we talk about on a spiritual path. All we truly need is within us. And all we need to do is give it a go and bring it forth. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. And knowing this truth is so important. And Fillmore tells us this in, I think this is from Christian Healing, I'm not sure. That is, yes. The more clearly we understand this truth, the greater will be our ability to plant the seeds that bring forth desirable fruits. After sowing, the plants must be tended. After using the law, we must hold to its fulfillment. This is our part, but God gives the increase. Okay, so we have to know that we have to not only receive the thought, but then plant the thought and allow that to produce in the same element, the same path as what was given to us. The minute we start trimming the leaves off or changing the shape, we are changing our path from the divine. You must work in divine order and not expect the harvest before the soil has been prepared or the seed sown. You have now the fruits of previous sowings, don't we? Yeah, and what have we done with those sowings? Hopefully, you have more that you have planted and kept in divine order than the ones that have veered off into the weed section of the garden, right? Change your thought seeds and reap what you desire. Some bring forth very quickly, others more slowly, but all will be in divine order. This is where faith jumps into the equation. Our wisdom is gonna like spark us. But we have to know beyond knowing that God is in the midst of everything and that everything's flowing into divine order for us. Whatever it is that you desire. Everybody say something you desire.
Mercedes.
Getting pretty definite there on what you the divine idea behind Mercedes is transportation. You have to go to the divine idea. So what else? What else does somebody desire?
Sensible gun control.
Love. Safety is behind that desire. So
go.
hold on to safety.
There you go.
Love is pure. Love is a power. Love we can bring forth with just saying love, believe it or not. Anybody else? Huh?
Health.
Health. Yes, health is definitely a divine order. God wants good for us, and health is one of those things. And our design or idea of health might be different than what God has put us in. You know, sometimes an extra 20, 30 pounds, 50 pounds is okay. Other times we might want to be, going to the gym every day, being able to be that active, whatever it is. But it will follow divine order when it's supposed to follow divine order, if we listen. Of course, that's the key. We got to listen. We got to take that divine idea and bring it forth. So whatever we are directed and aligned to do, if we align it with capital T truth, it's going to be good, and it's going to be good for us. And we are going to prosper, I love that word, prosper and reap the benefits of all those seeds being planted. You know, there's a lot of material things that happen on this earth that are good, and like massage, medicine, exercise, eating healthy, all those things are great. But if we're still in the mindset that, oh, I'll never be what I want to be, or I'm going to take this medicine, but by golly, I still have this disease or disorder or ailment, if we're still holding on to those thoughts, they're not going to work, are they? They're not going to work.
I was also thinking, the right heart condition. You have a heart there in the picture.
Yes.
He said that he's seeking the heart.
Yes. That soul's desire is in that heart space.
Have that heart centered to have that, because we can think a lot of thoughts, but if our heart
That's right.
Desire from the heart.
That's right. And that's aligning with divine order. That's staying in that place. And that's why we have to have our thoughts aligned with what it is that we're trying to, what the divine idea is behind it. We talk about health, we talk about love, we talk about safety. But if we say safety and, oh, those stupid guns, we're still attaching to something that is our own thoughts. But if we say safety, I see safety for this whole world. And you guys know how powerful our prayers have been. We can hold that. We can hold that and see the people that are having these anxious moments of bad choices, that they could take and bring their minds back to that place. Or maybe somebody next to them can say, wow, that person's off their medication. Let's get them some help. I mean, I'm not, I don't mean it funny, really. I mean it seriously. I've seen it. I've seen people that are not quite in the right frame of mind, and we have to be able to say, what can I do? And maybe just sending love to that person in that moment is enough for them to love themselves enough to switch their thinking. But if we're holding on, tethering anything to anything negative, then we're not following divine order. We're not seeing as God sees. We're not holding on to those divine ideas that we have been so richly blessed with. We have been so richly blessed with the ability to bring those forth. So, Fillmore wrote this too. Oh, sorry. I'm back to that idea of what we're holding on to. Because we can have these ideas for medicine and all this that can help us. Even a common cold. Those medicines that they advertise on TV that can help your common cold. They help on the outside, but we have to change our thinking on the inside to actually heal from even a common cold. Believe it or not. It is ultimately controlled by our thoughts. Even in the small details of life, such as dress, conversation, eating, sleeping, and working, system and order enables one to live a richer and fuller life. But only in divine order can be found the life abundant and eternal. This is important because this is what Fillmore wrote, because he wanted us to understand that when things are in divine order, we will reap the benefits. We will be richly blessed, more so than we even are now, because we will realize our blessings in every little blink of the eye. I don't think Frances would mind me sharing this, but she called this week and she said she went to the eye doctor because her eyes were feeling like they weren't blinking all the way. And the eye doctor says, oh, it's a new condition we're finding, that people that are on electronics a lot are not blinking enough, and so their eyes start learning not to blink all the way, and it causes your eyes to get dry. And she said to him, she said, well, what about all these kids that are on electronics all the time? He said, I don't know what their future is going to hold because of that condition. But anyway, he gave her exercises to do to make her blink completely more often, so that she can correct that little, unhealthy thing that's happening with her eyes. But it's so weird how we get in these situations and we don't even realize what we're doing to ourselves. But that awareness that we can have can change who we are and what we're doing. And it's, sometimes it's as simple as the blink of an eye, which we take for granted. We just don't see that all of these things are such blessings for us. And so that's what I'm saying. Even in the small details of life, we have to realize that God has totally blessed us. The ability to talk, the ability to sing. I say everybody can sing. Some people sing better than other people, but everybody can sing. And we have to just be grateful for all these little things, And I think it goes back to that question that I asked before. What are you hungry for? What is it that is calling you forth? What is it that your heart desires? And it can be something simple. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. You don't have to go make your new New Year's resolution of lists to say, this is what all I feel in my heart. Feels good to do that, but don't guilt yourself out on all those things. Know that you are kind of like clearing a space to allow divine order to go forth, to bring you to that next level. And whatever our soul focuses on and connects to is what we're going to bring forth. So think about that. If you're truly connected in divine order and you receive an idea from God, from capital T truth, then that's going to follow the right path. But if we start putting our own spin on it, we start veering off the path again. The good news is that we can connect our soul forces to love. And love, just like wisdom kind of churns and tells you yay or nay, love activates our consciousness to a higher realm of truth, believe it or not. That's why love feels so good. You know, that soul desire sometimes is just your soul saying, love me, love me. You want to go love everybody else, but sometimes it's saying, love me. And when you truly love yourself, when you can look in the mirror and love yourself, you're activating truth. You're activating God in your life. You're activating divine order in such a powerful way that it is going to explode into such greatness within you. I say love is a superpower, and it aligns us with divine order. So think about that. All you have to do is activate love, and you start following the path of divine order. The path becomes clear and open. Your mind starts being more open because you're activating something, one of the 12 powers, that is going to help you take you to this new place. I think love is a prosperous energy of divine order. Because the minute, and I think that's why we're so powerful here with the healing that we have had and this healing consciousness that we've had. Because this is a loving group. And we call each other family, and we mean it. And if one of us called for something, there'd be people coming to love you and to help you and to care for you, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. Even if it is just a phone call. Just a phone call. I don't like to say that. Even if it is a phone call that just is like, it's okay. It's okay. Sending love. And I think that's why we have that consciousness. But if we can take that same idea and know that it is also for all the other things, that it is a prosperity thing. Healing is a prosperity thing. So is the energy of money, believe it or not. It's a prosperity thing. It's a healing thing. It's a love thing. Because we get that from substance, which is what? Substance is what? God. And if we're getting it from God, then it has to be great. Right?
That's right.
And really, the divine idea of money is just as fluid as our ideas and can only bring good to us when we are working through the law of divine order. So if you think you're poor, or you don't have enough money for something, or you can't do that, or you can't do that, maybe it's because you're not following the path of divine order. Love your money, love you, set that path open, and write down that path right now. Set that path open and allow yourself to experience the abundance of all there is. The prosperous energy of divine order is longing for us to embrace it in our life. Are you ready to embrace it?
Yes.
Share and send love with faith. This is a caveat, but it's important. Because faith is the knowing that we deserve good. So when you share and send love, even to yourself, tell yourself that desire that you have within your soul, that you deserve to have that love. You deserve to have that good, and that you know that you deserve to have that good. Can I hear an amen on that one?
Amen.
Please. We must claim our inheritance with spiritual understanding that God's will for good for us is our will as we feed our souls. Let's say this together. The prosperous energy of divine order is longing for us to embrace it in our life. Share and send love with faith, the knowing that we deserve good. We must claim our inheritance with spiritual understanding that God's will for good for us is our will as we feed our souls. Are you ready to say yes to all this?
Yes.
Then give it a go. Thank you for being here. God bless you. So I have another Danny Goki song for you. I got a kick for him right now. I don't know what it is.